Good evening. William Mean here at 1799. Glad you stopped around. If you like this video, please share it. Leave a comment. And remember the First Amendment rights. And exercise them while we still can. Freedom. Religious beliefs. The right to choose. Versus control and slavery. Freedom and rights belong to the American people. Our Constitution gives us that because so many people paid the price for it. That comes from the Bill of Rights, which is installed into the Constitution. The thing that I look at here is when I listen to these politicians talk about gun control, or you don't take the shot, or you don't drive the right car, or some other calamity thing, or whatever can come up out of these guys' mouths. But are you free? Throughout history, long before our revolution, people have fought for freedom, one way or the other, whether it be individuals, small groups, small armies versus large, powerful armies. They fought for freedom. Leading up to our Revolutionary War, yes, people paid a heavy price for it. The revolutionaries who put the Declaration of Independence together, which were 56 signers who signed it, and some of them paid a heavy price for it. Some were hung, some of their families were murdered in their beds, burned in their homes, some were shot. Some went bankrupt. But it was their sacrifices that gave us this freedom. And throughout our history of this country, today's militaries all throughout have done one thing: fought for our freedom. But there's a thing in the UN called a Small Arms Treaty. Now, a lot of countries didn't sign into it. A few. The United States is one of them. And many politicians are just totally dumbfounded by it because they say our Constitution is old and obsolete and needs to be removed. Yeah. Because they like the way these other governments rule their people. And I use the word rule because that's exactly what they do. Now, it's kind of strange because one of the dictionaries caught my eye, or I should say my ear, when he made a statement. I forget the guy's name. But he said that our Constitution is irrelevant. People don't have rights. Rights come from the government as considered privileges. People don't have rights. They come from the government. Well, I find that to be a problem because I didn't know that the UN supports slavery. That's the way I look at it. Or supports countries who do believe in slavery. That's the way I look at it. Throughout this country's existence, we have been hammered and banged and hammered by every foreign country, I would say, who's decided one way or the other to take us. But in today's government, I don't understand them. They want to take your rights and trade them off for some other thing, or make deals. And I use the word making deals because it's like, you give me what I want and I'll give you what you want. Well, technically, that's not even supposed to be on the table. Because they're your rights, your freedoms. So when we turn around and say that it's granted by the government, that's slavery. When you're physically, spiritually, morally, or economically threatened, that's slavery. When we strip you and add all these goofy laws like the red flag laws or whatever, stripping you your right to slavery. You know, you can't argue about it, but that's what it is. Whether you own a firearm or not, it's immaterial. It's irrelevant. Because let's say they do have the power to strip this of your constitutional right to defend yourselves. You think those red flag laws will disappear? Hardly not. They'll just turn them into something else. Add more laws, rules, and regulations. Thus, the road to slavery. One cannot ask one question without being attacked for some purple reason or lied to. You pick a representative to represent the people, regardless who you pick. But when government turns around and says, oh no, you can't have that person, we'll destroy that person, we'll do everything to get rid of this person, they're removing your right to pick. We're forcing you to take something you don't want. It's just like an electric car. We're going to force you to take this electric car. We're going to force you to remove your gas stoves, your gas heaters, your gas hot water heaters. We're going to decide what you can and can't do. You have to take this shot because the government tells you to. Are you still free to make a choice? No. Because government decides what you can and can't do. Oh, we'll give you something. We'll give you something else. We'll hand you something, but is it freedom? Or we'll trade. But you have to give us what we want. If you don't want to surrender, we'll take it from you sooner or later. We'll use the majority to do it. So what happens to the individual rights? That's where the Bill of Rights comes in. It protects you as the individual, not the collective. Politicians are pushing that line of control any way they can. They don't need to purge the military. We need to purge law enforcement. We need more control in our schools. We need to control your children. We know what's best for your children. So where do you sit at in all this? You, the American people. Your jobs are gone. Gas prices are up. Food prices are up. Truck transports are not bringing supplies in quick enough. 401ks are gone. Most of them. And they're telling you that it's the other side has done it. The other side will destroy this. The other side will do this. The other side will do that. But you need to work with us. But where's your right to choose? Governments don't have that right to tell you what to do. They're supposed to be representatives. But when governments turn around and say, no, you have to fill out this piece of paper. You have to fill out this application. You have to pay us a fee. Then you got to pay us another fee to use that application. Then we have to decide whether you have that right or not. Is it freedom? You want to send your child to a different school? Well, we decide that. We don't know if we can or not. Is it freedom? You want to own a certain firearm. Oh, you got to go through all these hoops, these background checks, and whatever. Criminals don't have to do that, but you will do. It's a freedom. We control your bank accounts. It's a freedom. When all your rights are controlled by a government, and it's decided that we decide, it's no longer freedom, it's a privilege. So you want to take your firearm to another state, but now you can't do that because it's a privilege. You have to have this application or that application. Well, driving a car or driving a truck or taking your boat out, that's a privilege. It's not a constitutional right. But to put whatever you want away in your own bank account, or how you want to educate your children, or what job you want to get, or what school you want to attend, or your freedom of speech, freedom to choose, that's a right, not controlled by government. We are in a very bad predicament here. Many organizations, these anti-gun organizations who support these politicians, that allows people to come across our borders from the south into the north. And these people are homeless somewhat, but are protected by the government, while your veterans are sleeping out on the streets. Homeless people, or Americans, are sleeping out in the streets, who lost their jobs, who lost everything. But yet we'll break our backs to get jobs for these people because they'll work cheap. And the industry likes that. Our founders would have a heart attack today to find out how we allow what this government has done. And it makes some sense by adding another office, another political office to do some other doofy job that they created. We tell you what president to pick. We tell you what candidates you need to choose for, whether it be a Republican or Democrat, and both parties will make that decision. You won't. You just go vote for that individual. But it's your choice to who you vote for. But when they allow other entities to put pressure on voters, now is it freedom? Right to choose? When government decides, well, we're going to put all these taxes and levies against whatever product you want to buy, whatever firearm you want to buy, or you want to buy a gasoline engine instead of an electric car, is it freedom? The right to choose? What hospital you want to go to? What doctor you need? Government is becoming way too intrusive. And I don't know if anybody really has noticed it, but some of us really have. They want to put more cameras, they want to put more sound devices, they want to do more this and more that. People, you've got to wake up. If you like this video, share it. You make the decision. But you need to clamp down these politicians, and hard. Till then, keep your friends and family close and do not be afraid to defend yourselves. And remember, rights and privileges, there are two different animals. Don't let the government choose. Till then, take care.